Imagine turning everyday waste into a valuable resource for your garden. This transformative journey is all about the magic of composting. Picture this: scraps of food, leaves, and coffee grounds, things you would normally throw away, evolving into a rich, fertile compost. This isn't just an ecological act, it's an alchemical process, turning what we consider waste into a veritable garden gold. Composting plays a pivotal role in sustainable gardening, enriching the soil, retaining moisture, and suppressing plant diseases. It's about creating a circle of life right in your backyard, where waste is not the end but the beginning of something new, something alive. And the process itself is fascinating. Over time, microorganisms break down organic matter, releasing nutrients back into the soil. It's a symphony of nature, a slow but steady dance of decay and renewal. This is the magic of composting, a transformative practice that turns your waste into a treasure trove for your garden. Composting is a simple process that requires only 4 key elements. At the heart of composting are 4 main ingredients: greens, browns, water, and air. Each one plays a vital role in the creation of your garden's gold. Let's start with the greens. Green materials are rich in nitrogen, the essential nutrient that helps microorganisms grow and reproduce while breaking down the compost pile. Think of green materials as the protein shake for your compost pile's workforce. These include kitchen scraps like vegetable peels, fruit rinds, coffee grounds, and even fresh grass clippings. Next, we have the browns. These are your carbon-rich materials. If greens are the protein, then browns are the carbohydrates, providing energy for the composting organisms. Dry leaves, straw, wood chips, and even shredded paper fall into this category. They also help maintain a healthy structure in your compost pile, ensuring that air can circulate effectively. Now, just like us, the microorganisms in your compost pile need water to survive. The right moisture level in your compost pile is crucial. It should feel like a wrung-out sponge, damp but not dripping. Too much water can drown the microorganisms, while too little can slow down the decomposition process. Finally, we have air. Oxygen is essential for aerobic bacteria, the hard workers in your compost pile, to break down organic material. Turning your compost pile every few weeks introduces fresh air into the mix, keeping the decomposition process humming along. You might be wondering how much of each ingredient is needed. A good rule of thumb is to aim for a balance, maintaining a ratio of about 2 parts browns to 1 part greens. This mix helps to ensure a healthy, well-balanced compost pile. Throughout this process, gardeners around the world are adding materials to their compost bins, each contributing to the intricate dance of decomposition. From traditional compost piles to modern compost tumblers, each method shares the same fundamental ingredients. With these 4 elements, you're ready to start your composting journey. So why not give it a try? You'll be turning waste into garden gold in no time. And remember, composting isn't just good for your garden. It's also a fantastic way to reduce waste and contribute to a healthier planet. But how does this transformation from waste to garden gold occur, you might wonder? Well, the answer lies in the fascinating science of composting. At its core, composting is a natural process of decomposition. When you toss your kitchen scraps and yard waste into a compost bin, you're setting the stage for a biological spectacle. This spectacle is led by a team of microorganisms, including bacteria, fungi, and even tiny insects. These microorganisms are the true heroes of composting, breaking down organic matter into a nutrient-rich substance that plants love. Imagine them as microscopic chefs, diligently cooking up a feast for your garden. The process begins when these tiny workers start to break down the greens in your compost, the materials rich in nitrogen such as vegetable peels, coffee grounds, or grass clippings. As they consume these materials, they generate heat, turning your compost pile into a warm, inviting home for even more microorganisms. Next, the microorganisms turn their attention to the browns, the carbon-rich materials such as leaves, paper, or wood chips. This is a slower process, but equally important, as it helps to balance out the nitrogen and provides the microorganisms with energy. As these microorganisms eat, grow, and reproduce, They transform the waste into a crumbly, earthy-smelling material known as compost. This process also releases essential nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium back into the soil. But what makes compost so special? Unlike synthetic fertilizers, compost provides a slow-release source of nutrients. This means that instead of getting a quick, short-lived boost, plants receive a steady supply of nutrients over time, leading to healthier, more resilient growth. In essence, composting is a cycle of life, death, and rebirth. It's a beautiful demonstration of how waste isn't truly waste at all, but a valuable resource waiting to be transformed. It's a testament to nature's efficiency, its ability to recycle and reuse, turning what we discard into something of immense value. So, the next time you're peeling vegetables or raking leaves, remember, you're not just creating waste. You're gathering ingredients for a magical transformation, powered by the science of composting. That's the science that turns your waste into a treasure for your garden. Like any process, composting comes with its challenges. But don't worry, even the most seasoned gardeners face issues from time to time. The secret lies in finding practical solutions, and that's exactly what we're going to delve into now. First off, let's tackle a common concern: unpleasant odors. If your compost pile smells, it's probably because it's too wet, or it may have too many greens and not enough browns. Remember, a healthy compost pile should smell like earth, not garbage. So to fix this, add more browns like dry leaves or shredded newspaper to balance it out. Also, make sure your compost has good drainage to prevent excess moisture. Next, we come to the problem of slow decomposition. If your compost pile seems like it's taking forever to break down, it might be lacking oxygen, or it could be too dry. A compost pile needs both air and moisture to decompose effectively. So, turn your compost pile regularly using a pitchfork or a shovel to reintroduce oxygen. You can also add some water, but be careful not to overdo it. You want your compost pile to be as damp as a wrung-out sponge, not soaking wet. Pests can also be a nuisance. To deter unwanted critters, make sure to bury your food scraps well within your compost pile and avoid composting meat or dairy products, as they tend to attract pests. And finally, if your compost pile is too cold, it could slow down the decomposition process. A compost pile generates heat as the organic materials break down. But if it's not warm, it could be too small or lack a good mix of materials. Try to maintain a pile that's at least 3 feet high and 3 feet wide, and ensure a good balance of greens and browns. Remember, patience is key when it comes to composting. It's a natural process that can take anywhere from 2 months to 2 years, depending on your climate and the materials you're composting. With these tips, you can overcome any composting challenge. So keep calm and compost on. Composting isn't limited to traditional methods. In fact, innovation has opened up a world of exciting and efficient techniques. One such technique is vermicomposting, which involves using worms to consume organic waste and produce nutrient-rich compost. This method is not only efficient but also quite fascinating. Imagine having a small army of worms diligently working to turn your kitchen scraps into garden gold. But that's not all. Bokashi composting is another innovative technique that uses a specific group of microorganisms to ferment organic waste. This method is particularly suitable for those who live in apartments, as it doesn't require a large outdoor space and doesn't produce unpleasant odors. And let's not forget compost tumblers, which make turning compost a breeze, speeding up the decomposition process and making composting more manageable for everyone. These techniques show that composting is not one size fits all. It can be adapted to fit any lifestyle and living situation. So remember, no matter your living situation, you can compost. So, what difference does compost make to your garden? Imagine your garden as a gourmet restaurant for plants. The soil is the kitchen, and compost is the secret ingredient that makes every dish a star. It's a game changer, turning ordinary soil into a nutrient-rich paradise where plants thrive. Compost is like a multivitamin for your garden. It's packed with essential nutrients plants need, like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. When you mix compost into your soil, you're not just improving its structure, you're also feeding your plants a balanced diet that promotes healthy, robust growth. But the magic of compost doesn't stop there. It also improves soil's water retention, which means less watering and happier plants. Plus, compost can suppress plant diseases and pests, reducing the need for chemical pesticides. Now, picture two plants, one grown in soil alone, the other in soil enriched with compost. The difference is clear. The compost-grown plant is healthier, more vibrant, and more productive. Compost truly is garden gold. You now have the knowledge to turn waste into garden gold. The alchemy of composting is a transformative journey, one that begins in your kitchen and ends in a lush, vibrant garden. This simple yet powerful process takes what many see as waste and turns it into a valuable resource, enriching the soil and contributing to the health and vitality of your plants. Imagine the satisfaction of giving your garden a nutrient boost with materials you'd ordinarily throw away. From leaves and kitchen scraps to coffee grounds, these elements combine to create a rich, fertile compost that will nourish your garden and promote its growth. And remember, composting is not just for those with sprawling gardens. Innovative techniques like vermicomposting make it accessible for everyone, regardless of living situation. It's a small but significant step towards sustainable living, turning waste into treasure. Begin your composting journey today and watch your garden thrive.